And wow, looks like we got kind of the lighthearted stuff out of the way early, because the next question comes from Descent TV. Descent TV asks, do I think 9/11 was an inside job, or at least allowed to happen to get us into the war? Yeah, definitely. But if you put any degree of thought into it, you know that you don't know the truth. Okay? And also, there's very little evidence available, but if you check the evidence that is available, you will see that the buildings were brought down by a controlled demolitions that was engineered to look like it was brought down by an airplane crash. Incidentally, the buildings were built to withstand that exact sort of scenario, being crashed into by an airliner. It would have caused a lot of damage, but it would not have collapsed the buildings entirely. Okay, and the crap about the guy's passport being found at ground zero when bodies and steel were incinerated. I mean, God, didn't you guys ever watch the Dukes of Hazzard where they drop his wallet like, oh, now they'll think it was him, right? It's like classic. It's so classic that it's stupid. Hey, look at this. We got another lighthearted one from Monkey DBZ12. Monkey DBZ12. I think that was it. Or maybe I wrote it down wrong. But you know who we are. Hopefully, you know who we are. He says, who's my favorite band and why? That's another one. I have trouble picking favorites, guys, you know. This is probably turning out kind of boring for you because of that, but I really don't so much have a favorite band. Wow, you know, I listen to so many different things. I don't really have a favorite band. I really like the Dead Kennedys. A bit old school, but you know, Jello Biafra, I knew what he was talking about. He had his head on his shoulders. They were, you know, against all of the things that caused the majority of the problems in society. And so I really dig them for that. I wouldn't really say they're my favorite, but if I gotta pick somebody, I'm gonna go with Dead Kennedys. Okay, also my YouTube buddy Grim asked a question. It wasn't actually connected with my questions and answers video, but I've done such a lame job of getting back to him, I thought I'd throw it in here too, because we need a little bit more bulk. He was wondering, since I talk about different field manuals and primitive living and foraging and that sort of thing, what manuals I have. So hopefully you're watching this so you get the answer to your question. First one is Peterson's guide to edible and wild plants. Right? Peterson's guides are fabulous. They have a ton of them, and this is made by region. So depending on where you live, you're going to want to pick the book for that region. Like this is Eastern and Central North America, which is where I live. I live in Eastern and Central North America all at once. But they've got tons of them, not just on edible plants, but on just about everything. Poisonous snakes, you know, poisonous insects, edible snakes, insects, things like that. You know what I mean? Peterson's guides, and they're fabulously written, and they're super inclusive. The one thing I don't like about them is the majority of it is black and white line diagrams, and they do have color plates in the center of much of it. Now I also have this an instant guide to edible plants, and the majority of it is in color, and it's well put together. Unfortunately, it's just not very comprehensive, but use the two together and you end up with a really good resource, right? Another one that I got just the beginning of this year is called Wilderness Survival, right? It's by Mark Elbrock and Mike Putherer. I read their credentials. I don't recognize them personally, but I read their credentials, and they know what they're talking about, and so I thought this would be a good book. Unfortunately, the majority of it is like Mark's diary while they did this little adventure, right? They went into the woods for a good long time, and they just used primitive skills only to survive. And so he documents a lot of that and gives you a lot of how-to, but in my opinion it wasn't enough for the size. but it is a good read if you don't mind reading his day-to-day diary. Okay, so yeah, that's my questions and answers one. Sorry I didn't have better favorites for everybody that asked, and sorry there weren't more questions, but I'm going to wrap it up here so I can get this put up on YouTube and see how it goes.